All right, once again, y'all, I'm posting this on someone else on another page. Y'all know who this is. This your boy Rob Thomas Jr. from the Real News Behind the News. Today is Friday, May 30th, 2020, and I'm pretty sure everybody is seeing where you're having pretty much riots. Is at this point now. It's getting past protests, peaceful protests. You are having riots in certain areas of the country as a result of the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer. But let me give y'all a little game. Think about this. All those people out there right now tearing up shit, rioting, basically tearing up their own neighborhoods because you know that they not in the downtown areas or they not in those suburbs or they're not even rioting in front of the home of the police officers who stood by and watched as this one police officer literally choked this dude to death. Think about this. These people can find time to go out and tear shit up after this man is killed, but can't find an hour or two of their time to go down to their city council meetings and challenge power and speak out against, but not only speak out against police brutality, but demand that the police be held accountable by demanding that they create citizen review boards, even citizens policing the police, because you cannot expect the police to police themselves. I mean, again, you can find time to go out and tear shit up after somebody's been killed by the police, but can't even find an hour of your time once every 2 weeks or however each city holds their city council meeting. You can't find the time to go down there and be proactive and demand that they start drug testing the police. And when the police kill somebody, demanding that they let us know what's in the police system. Because first thing they're going to try to do is give a toxicology report of George Floyd, saying, well, he had marijuana in his system. But I'm ready to bet that if they drug test them police officers, most of them got steroids in their system. Most of them are on antidepressants. Half of them are on weed. Some of them are on coke. You see what I'm saying? But they'll tell you these things. So there are things that you can do before somebody get killed, man. You know what I'm saying? Tearing up your own shit after the fact. You know what? After they don't care about you tearing up your own shit. You out there rioting and looting. They do not care. Because you know what? Long as you don't tear up their department stores. You know what I'm saying? Long as you don't tear up their malls. Long as you don't tear up their banks. Long as you don't burn down their so-called vital city infrastructure, meaning your buildings where power rests, whether it be commercial, governmental, or residential. As long as you don't go over there fucking with the white folk, man, you can burn the whole city down. Because guess what? Some bank gonna loan some white dude the money to come build another store in your neighborhood. And then somebody else still getting killed because you have not addressed the problem by tearing shit up, man. So, also, we don't really understand who they're putting on our streets as police officers. That's one of the most important things you have to understand. See, a lot of people don't understand why I talk about what goes on around the world and why I study international stuff. Because again, if you'll never understand what's going on in your own neighborhood, man, unless you understand what they're doing internationally. You have to ask, where are these police getting this training that allows them certain tactics of suppression, brutalization, and even murder, and they get away with it? Yeah, I bet you there's one place where all this fucking over-aggressive, heavily militarization of the police starts. And most of your police departments here in America get their training. Y'all want to know where it's at? Israel. This is why I talk about, if you don't understand what they're doing to the Palestinians, man, I'm just be real. I don't give a fuck how smart you say you are, how conscious you say you are. If you don't understand what they're doing, what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians, you will never understand that the police in America are being trained in Israel in the same tactics of oppression, brutalization and suppression that they use on the Palestinians. So this shit is way bigger. Also, you got to realize that the police departments around the country are taking on people coming back from these foreign wars where they done went over there, man, and literally slaughtered innocent people, man, murdered all these people. Now they fucked up in the head. They're coming back home. Half of them are on antidepressants because they cannot deal with the death and destruction that they caused on these innocent people overseas in your name illegally. That's why your police are killing themselves like they are. That's why they're on antidepressants. So you take these people who went over there, murdered all these innocent people, come back here. Now you putting a monster. Guess where they put them at? In your neighborhoods. We are living in open air prisons in our neighborhoods because they don't get it twisted that anytime they want to go to any urban inner city neighborhood, the police really with 5 or 6 blocks can shut down your neighborhood. You're living in an open air prison. This is why they call them ghettos. Where you get the word ghetto from? Go back to Nazi Germany. What the Germans did to the Jews. So this shit is way bigger, man, than just somebody getting killed. Man, it was tragic the way they murdered this dude, but we're sitting around here protesting, demanding that the cops be fired and go to prison. All right, true. That's supposed to happen because they broke the law. But when are you going to protest again? When you're not going to stop protesting and go down, you as a taxpaying citizen have the right to go down to your city council meeting and demand that this police officer that you pay, that the whole police force, demand that every month we get, the public gets public notice of drug tests from these police officers. We need to know who we're paying. If they're on steroids and you paying their salary, don't you think you need to know that? But as soon as you get killed by the police or you have to go to court for such and such, first thing they're going to do is tell you what's in your system. You have a bunch of drug-addicted, mentally ill, over-aggressive, and violent sociopaths, psychopaths on these police forces, man. And they're getting their training overseas, fighting these illegal wars, and being instructed in paramilitary tactics by the Israelis. Y'all join us on YouTube. We gonna go into it a whole lot deeper, man. But I'm gonna be real. All that rioting shit, man, is not gonna get you. All that's gonna do is bring attention to it. And then while you riding in these states and cities, in other cities, Negroes are still getting gunned down by the police and other Negroes. It's another thing you gotta keep in mind. People don't want to hear this shit about black on black crime. But do you realize you're bringing these mentally ill ass people who are already seeing all this death and destruction, half of them are scary with itchy trigger fingers, or they just got itchy trigger fingers, and then you bringing them back home, putting them into motherfucking war zones right here in our streets. Come on, man, this shit works. It works in a lot of ways, but you got to understand where it all stems at, and that's they're being trained in these tactics. Y'all join us on YouTube.